Welcome to SML Total Access, where we break down news, predictions, and more in our Madden League. Now, let's get fired up for SML football.
Hello and welcome to SML Total Access. I am Primetime 000, joined by Matt and Dan. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good, man. Only podcast that can represent all three winners on it.
That's right.
Yeah, SML's on break, but we're not, so let's do it.
Hey, guys, I'm excited to talk about this one. Final season is complete, obviously. Colts won the Super Bowl, if you guys didn't know. What's your thoughts on the final season? And who do we go first? Dan, I guess. He's the odd one, right?
Usually Matt's the odd one, but that's all right. We'll change tradition up here. Hey, hey, for a guy that makes the summer excuse for various different reasons, I thought the last season was ran very well. Not a lot of forced wins. Playoffs were entertaining. I think Prime winning was probably fitting because he had the most wins on the cycle. He is clearly the best player, so I'm glad that he won that one. I do want to talk a little bit about Stavo getting blown out by KP. I know it's the last game of the cycle for Stavo. I know there's some talk about was his two wins kind of focused on, was it Madden 25 only? I know Madden 24 he struggled even though he had one of the best abilities in the game. I think that last loss to KP though, I think it was like what 35-3 or some point
Yeah.
at one point. I think that's going to leave a lasting mark, and I think the questions about Stavo going into Madden 26 are legit questions.
Oh, that's...
Yeah, I kind of echo what Dan said. I feel like it put a bow on everything. And I know Prime you won, and obviously no one needs to tell you that the last season counts just the same as any other one. But there's a lot of talk and chat about summertime, and it's the last season, and who cares? It doesn't count. First season, easiest to win. Last season, no easiest to win. Look, a lot of those people saying that either have never won or can't win the first or last season anyway. So none of that really matters. So if you're in here thinking, gosh, if I win the first or last one, it doesn't really matter. Nope, every sim already looks the same. But I thought at the end of the day, it just kind of tied all of the narratives together. Look, the AFC, no matter what the NFC wants to say, no matter how much Grimm puts spreadsheets together, that only reinforced the fact the AFC was better. And you saw it in the Super Bowl. You had Grimm showing up, getting through the NFC, and then you had, when you played in Prime, it looked like Grimm had never picked up a controller before, or he was holding it upside down, or his computer was off. That's not a shot at Grimm. I'm sure he would not be happy with how he played, but you saw the difference. And if you're in the AFC, yeah, okay, Prime is the top of the top. He's the cycle GOAT, but that's pretty much most of the games in the AFC playoffs are going to be a lot like that. And I thought it just would very eloquently put a bow on the fact that the AFC was the superior conference.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting final season in the thought that, hey, I don't think we had any playoff games that were simmed. I think they were all played.
Nope.
Which is cool. Obviously, Dan wasn't there, which I think they're always different when Dan's there. Damon, he had an early exit, but he had some stuff going on. You guys were both kind of leaving. So it's just, which for me, I would like to have played one of you two, honestly, but you play who's in front of you, obviously, and somehow ZBD, he kind of came out of nowhere. He's kind of a guy I think people should watch out for heading into Madden 26 because he's going to have a team that he can build up on his own. But for me, obviously, it felt good to finish the cycle strong with the championship. I felt like I had played really well this cycle, and I would have felt that maybe two was underachieving. So three I at least am content with.
Even to Matt's point, real quick, Prime, I want to say like both CBD and AJ both played you really good. I mean, they both had you in one score, different style games, and then you get to the Super Bowl, and I mean, I haven't seen a Super Bowl like that in a long time. I mean, you just were all over Grimm. I think Grimm had you had more points than Grimm had total yards, maybe in the first half, or maybe total plays, something like that. It was just ridiculous. So back to Matt's point, I just think the AFC was just hands down, up and down the conference, just dominant this cycle.
Yeah, I think AFC definitely it was better. And the cool thing about Grimm that I felt leading into the game, I commentated a game of his, and I could kind of quickly tell that this isn't a shot at Grimm, but I felt like if I could stop playing A, there was no playing B and C, and we were able to execute that. So some guys like you and you know, other tough guy KP, they can adjust as the game flies on, and I don't think Grimm was ready for that, but I think he'll develop and he'll become a much better player from that game.
Yeah, and let's not forget the AFC lost QP and QB stud, both multiple Simbardi winners. We lost those guys, and it was still a clear disparity. If they would have stayed, it just would have been just a blowout.
100%, 100%. Let's move on now. Most surprising and most disappointing, or most surprising or most disappointing player for the cycle. Depends if you're a pessimist or optimist. Dan, we'll go with you because you're number 2.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think a clear winner from most disappointing's got to be Strawback. Now, look, we'll put a little asterisk with that. Anytime you have a newborn, KP, Strawback, I'm not sure who else maybe had a newborn this past cycle. It is tough. Okay, your life changes. Things aren't as easy as you used to. But he went into a weak NFC when we started back in August last year. I think everybody was thinking Strawback was going to come out of the NFC at least multiple times. I know Paulie was basically he died on camera as soon as Strawback took the Cowboys. That was a moment where Paulie thought he was dead in the water, but Paulie actually probably had a better cycle than Strawback. So I think Strawback definitely has to have that. I'm going to put AJ up there. I think AJ had a good cycle, but he had chances, I think, with that team and the way it was set up, especially early on, to make more noise than he did. I don't want to say most disappointed, but I guess I had higher hopes for AJ as he took the Chiefs, that he was going to be a guy that was going to be battling division AFC title games. I don't know if I was going to see him as a Lombardi winner, but definitely in the mix. And to my knowledge, I think he maybe only had just a few playoff win. So I got to put him there. I think surprising. Again, I don't want to say Stavo was surprising, but he took a step up. Damon, was pick 32. Coming in and had the brawny talk right off the bat. That he was getting called up to the big leagues because of his dad, and I think he, as the cycle went on, proved to be one of the tougher guys to knock out, at least making a lot of deep, or not deep runs, but good regular season play. So I think those two guys would be the ones I'd put for surprising.
That's good.
Yeah, so Dan has AJ for most disappointing because he got a couple of playoff wins. I have him for most surprising because he got a couple of playoff wins. Anyways, most surprising, I'm on board with Dan. Damon's kind of the low-hanging fruit, but for a different reason. He was just unknown. I wasn't surprised that he was good because he used to be bad. He just was unknown. He went into, again, this division started me, Dan, him, and QB Stud. He was the only person without a Simbardi when he started. He didn't have a win. So very impressed by his season. Yeah, he struggled in the playoffs, but hey, we all know the SML week 14 and the SML week or in the playoffs, totally different story. And it's hard to fault him for getting accustomed to that. And I think, I think I looked at the stats. I think outside of AJ, every single person he lost to in the playoffs was a Simbardi winner. I think he lost to U Prime a couple of times, including when he was the 1 seed, lost to Dan. He lost to Gutta. So he lost to all Simbardi winners except for AJ. But to go with most surprising outside of that low-hanging fruit, I'm going to go with Mike. If you actually look at the numbers, I was actually surprised that Mike only won 44% of his games this cycle. But he made he had really good seasons where he made runs. And again, not making excuses here because the game was played and it was played how it was played. But that game against Paulie, where he had he was moving and he had to play. Remember, he had his neck was tilted back and he had that input lag on the TV. He had a chance to win that game, but he missed a field goal because of the input lag or something like that. But Mike's a 39% career winner, so he increased that by 5%, and he had his moments. My most disappointing, I think Strawblocks is a really good example, but again, newborn kid. That's tough, but it's Paulie for me. Look, Paulie makes no secret that he goes for the weak. He goes for the weak. He goes for the weak divisions. This time, he got the weakest conference in my entire SML career. Well, I shouldn't say never will, because I think it's going to happen next cycle too. But he's never going to. He can't really get an easier conference. There should be no resistance to him. He should have made 1 or 2 Super Bowls. He admitted on the truth with Prime that you guys practiced and you guys figured out that QBs don't matter. He said that. So he went to the Giants, whose only real drawback was Daniel Jones, but he knew it didn't matter. He said that. And he didn't even make a Super Bowl against the easiest competition that he's ever going to have. Not just division, but conference. So Paulie's my disappointment he didn't need to win one, but I would like to have seen him make one.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I think for me, the positive surprise was Damon, actually. It's easy to fall into the whole Brownie talk and the hype and the expectations of your dad being a Madden legend in the SML. And you know what he did? He came in and he's played well, and I think he got better as the cycle went on, and he competed, and he got the best of Dan often in the regular season and me in the regular season. And all that with just being his first real cycle in the SML. I was impressed. He trash talked. He hopped on a couple shows every now and then. I thought it was I was surprised because he could have kind of just played it low key and probably had a spot secured if he was just safe with it. So no, I was impressed by that. For me, my disappointment in the cycle is Johnny C. I just was not impressed by. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, when I look at the SML and I look at all of just the divisions and conferences as a whole, I look at that AFC East and I look at Doink. Remember last cycle he had set feet lead and he was amazing. He made Super Bowl twice, won one, I think it was, and it's not SFL. It's not SFL. It's that ability's overrated. It's overrated. Now, like, we don't even know. I couldn't even tell you what Doink's record was the last 3 years or if he even made the playoffs. I mean, it was just bad. It was bad. It was a huge drop off. And it's not like he was in a tough division. I mean, who's he playing? Meats in like the shadow of Meats is his toughest player because Bean left. So I'm disappointed in Doink. Hopefully he doesn't listen.
That's a good one. I don't know if he won a playoff game this cycle. So
yeah,
that's definitely a big drop off from the cycle before.
Big drop off. I'm gonna see him at the meetup, so hopefully he doesn't hear this before then. But man, it's not good. Not good. Matt, what's your Madden 26 is coming out in a week from Thursday now. They upped the release date. I don't know if you've seen that. The early edition, I should say, is coming out. Do you have a tradition like Madden Holiday? Do you do anything special? Maybe it's when you get KFC that night and then you play till 12 a.m. and you play franchise mode. What do you do when the game comes out?
Yeah, so first off, it is interesting that they said like the game is ready and so are we, that's kind of cool that they're bumping it up. They haven't done that before, but normally what I do is, I once, you always post the schedule and when the game's going to come out and all that early release and all that stuff. So when it's about, 72 hours from when we have to play the game or when it's going to release, I usually go in the laundry room, grab the bleach, pour a glass, and then just contemplate drinking it in one gulp. So far, I have not done that. I've been here every time. But no, I really don't have a Madden tradition, man. I usually go into each pre-cycle before the team draft with 3-4 teams on my list, and I'll boot up and play the game against somebody, people here and there, maybe play 4 or 5 games. And then I'm like, okay, well, I can make my decision. I don't make my playbook. I don't study. I just want to play a couple of games with the teams on my list, make a decision, and then I don't touch it until we start.
Dan, what do you do?
Man, we couldn't be any more opposite than that, right, Matt? I got a lot of different traditions. One, I as much as they do the release with the player rankings and abilities. This week actually they'll do that. A week before the game. There's something about looking at everything in the game that just looks different for me. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's just an old dog with old tricks, and I can't really look at the spreadsheet and get the same feel for everything. So I just got to go look at all the rosters, see some of the hidden guys, the guys that are like bench players, but you can turn them into studs. So that's kind of That's something that I'm looking at. Uh, Sorry. Oh, catching my breath here, trying to run up the steps. The, the second thing I'll start doing is go right into playbooks and start putting in some formations and start running some plays, and then I'll start simming seasons, and I want to see cap issues. I want to see regression issues. I want to see all just kind of certain things, and so I'll probably do that for the first 2-3 weeks. I won't play a single game against anyone until probably maybe a week before team draft. I might run a scrimmage with Damon just to see how some things do it. So I'm definitely a little odd when it comes to that, but that's kind of the way that I try to look under the hood before I start getting into gameplay.
Yeah, the first thing I do, actually, I'll probably do over the next couple of days, I'll go into my Madden 25 and I will write down all the formations I have in my playbook, and then I will just add them immediately to my playbook. When I first get the game, I just add them all. Same plays that I had last year, I just add them all real quick to make sure I have everything, and then I'll hop in a quick play now game against some random and just make sure all my plays look normal. And then I'll make a franchise mode, simulation franchise mode, and add Polly to it, and I'll scrimmage against Polly probably 10 times and maybe call Matt once and scrimmage Matt 4 times, and then we let it rip with whatever team I choose. So that's kind of
Well, I could save you that step. I could just send you my spreadsheet of all the plays that you run.
yeah. If you could send me that, because every year I have to freaking write down. I go through and I write down.
Yeah.
It takes 15
You don't have
minutes.
to worry about that. I got a Google sheet on that. I can
Yeah,
send it
I was
to you.
gonna say you probably haven't had to update it in a while, but man,
No, no, not at all. Take that back. You added about 4 or 5 different plays this year.
this
So
year, usually every year, I look into it right in August. I had 5 plays after I had all my other ones, and then typically plays are already in the
yeah,
Colts playbook pre-built, and then yeah, that's about it.
yep, yep. I'll help you out there.
Yeah, I appreciate that, guys. We move on now, Matt? It's the last time of the cycle you can spread it on somebody. So who? Oh wait, no, it's Dan. Dan, who you squirting your love on?
You got all these numbers all mixed up. You're
Yeah,
out of sync
I'm
here.
out of sync. I'm out of
Um,
sync.
yeah. Well, hey, I don't do this often, and I don't know if this is recorded, but I just got to spread my love to Prime, man. You had a great cycle. I got to tip my hat to you. You had your longest drought in SML history, and a lot of questions whether or not you could get back there. And if you remember, I think it was after the QP win. I said the alphas are going to get together, and we ran the AFC from that moment on. No one else won an AFC title after that. If it wasn't for 2 bad games for me against Stavo, we could have won every Super Bowl after that. But I want to give you the credit for being the GOAT for the cycle. Through Sabardi's top winner. You earned every bit of it, and congratulations.
Wow. Thank you, Dan. That was unexpected. I appreciate that.
Geez, did Dan get hold of my script? I'll start with. I'm going to start with NYT. Welcome back. April can't come soon enough. And then Tiny. Welcome back. I hope you make the playoffs the first season. And then I'm just going to put. I'm going to share my love with the whole league. Look, we always talk about on this show, generally in the late spring, early summer, of it's amazing that we have this active of a league where games are being played in 24, 48 hours in May and June when the game is stale and all other leagues are either they've quit or they're still hanging on by a thread and just rotating these goons in and out for whatever reason. So now we're in a lull period where we haven't had a Madden game in what, a week or two.
Yeah.
And the chat is just bumping every single day, almost to the point where it's like, okay, I got to put my phone out of reach so I don't try and check chat and get engaged when I should be working. So hats off to the league for continuing to fill the gap with chat while we wait for the game to come out.
No, that's good. That's good. Yeah, same for me. I just look around the league and I see a lot of really good guys, a lot of guys who are remaining active. And honestly, I'm going to spread the love to some of the guys who are going to come to the SML meetup here in 3 days. I think we have at least 8 or 9 guys, and I think Bean might show up to the meetup as well. Tiny, Paulie's going to try hosting. It'll be interesting. I was thinking about it, and you see these memes of they call it, and I don't smoke, but they say a nightmare blunt rotation is what they say. I got Fig, Paulie, Doink, and Tiny, all my quote unquote nightmare blunt rotation is who I'm going to sit with at this meetup. It's going to be fun though. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to torch Straw Blacks on a go route. He's going to be there. So it's going to be a fun time. Matt, let's close this out. What you got for your Matt 5?
Yeah, Dan kind of nudged me, gave me an elbow nudge on what to do on this one. It is tough between cycles. Hope I got it right. So this will be who I think will be the top 5 owners going into Madden 26, regardless of the team draft and what team they take. Dan, did I get it right? All right, thanks, Dan. So I guess he's just not going to talk. Number 5, I've got Stavo. Look, I'm not convinced. This guy, and I know. He wasn't here for a full cycle last cycle, but he came in. He got the Titans. He had set feet lead, which we just saw what it did to Doink, and what it had even done to me. It propelled Doink to a Super Bowl and a very, very good cycle to now really doing nothing in the weakest AFC conference or division. And he couldn't even win a playoff game. I wasn't expecting Stavo to win a Super Bowl, but he couldn't even win a playoff game with the best ability in the game by far. He goes to NFC and he wins 2. I'm just not convinced, but I do have him at 5. He's the best of the bunch after the top 4. At number 4, I've got Damon. Look, I don't think it's a fluke. He went toe-to-toe with the best in the business. He got the 1 seed in the AFC at least one time. And that's with playing Dan twice. And he honestly had Dan's number here at the later end of the cycle. I don't have the cycle numbers, but it felt like Damon was always getting a little bit of the old man. So I think big things are going to come to Damon. I have to imagine he's probably not going to be in a tougher division, although he has talked about the Texans a lot. So maybe he's just a glutton for punishment. At number 3, you got Bomber. Look, he didn't make a Super Bowl, so I'm sure he's disappointed in that regard. But I think it's also easy to forget, and I forgot, he was gone for a lot of the first season. He eclipses the 100 win mark if he's here, probably. Now, that's not an excuse. Availability is the best ability, but I think Bomber's obviously going to be strong. If he gets his Browns, depending on their ratings tomorrow, we'll find out a lot tomorrow with the rookie ratings. I think they're going to be a force potentially. Number 2, Dan. I mean, why not? Dan just explained to you for 25 minutes his Madden tradition. Look, he's going to be great. He always is great. He's going to play chess while a lot of us are playing checkers. He's going to be good. And then it's Prime. Prime, you are generally the cycle goat. I know Dump got you last cycle, but here you are again. You had 3 when no one else could do it. You did it in the toughest conference with a Colts team that, by all accounts, wasn't fantastic. So that's my top 5 as we head into Madden 26, regardless of what team each person takes.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good list.
Sorry, Matt. I was having a hard time breathing there earlier, but I'm back, and that's what I was looking for. Only 2 things I got to ask you real quick. One, don't forget Prime was number 4 last cycle.
That was I was so underrated last cycle.
He was 4. I should have been 2. Somehow KP or QP took 2 from me, even though I beat him more in the playoffs. Anyways, I'm curious why no KP in the top 5?
KP didn't. I mean, he made one Super Bowl in a weak NFC. I can't put him over Damon. I can't put him over Bomber, and Stavo won 2 Super Bowls. So I guess KP would be 6, but he didn't do better than Stavo, and Damon did it in a tougher conference.
Okay, just check it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. KP, I think, is expecting to have a bounce back cycle. I talked to him a little bit. He said he's angry, feels disrespected in the SML top 10s, what he told me in private. Told me not to leak that either.
Yeah, he told me that same thing in private. And I don't see KP ever getting too angry, but he was angry a few times late in the season. Yeah. I expect a big bounce back season, KP cycle.
I do too. He told me, well, I can't tell you. All I'm saying is this cycle, he's going to be wearing color red. Take that how you want. So, guys, that's SML Total Access. I am Prime Time 000 26-time champion with Dan and Matt. Guys, we appreciate you listening, watching, and hope you have a great day.